Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here once again from Extra Time, joined by three men with different stages of beard going on. We've got myself with a bit of grey, we've got Siddharth with a bit of moustache going, and Gil, well, you're well and truly there. You haven't got much to do there. Maybe a bit of trimming maybe is necessary. So welcome, guys. We're looking forward to having Subian Chakraborty as well when he turns up. That'll make us a foursome. And we've got an amazing. So hi guys, how's Siddharth?
Hi Norman. I think Gil should have been in the middle. Then, if I was at the far left or right, it would have been the reverse of Benjamin Button, as far as beard is concerned.
That's true.
Yes,
it's a full debauches. And Gil, how are you?
Good. Looking forward to the game.
Mumbai Indians top? What are you wearing?
No, it's Delhi Capitals.
Delhi Capitals, sorry. So Delhi Capitals. And of course, Delhi Capitals are playing Mumbai Indians today in what should be, again, people say it's too early and all that. I know that, but the fact is this is an important match. Really, we're looking at two very serious contenders for the title. Obviously, Mumbai Indians, we know why they're a serious contender, but Delhi Capitals certainly came back last match after a faltering match the previous match. I think that certainly is the case. Interestingly enough, Anrich Norgay is actually available for selection today. That could be, I'm guessing he'll be included in the team. And here we have Subian Chakraborty. How are you?
All good, Norman. How are you? It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
My pleasure. With a name like Chakraborty, of course, you share that with the likes of a Kuntal, Kuntal Anshu from my program. I'm going to stop my program started on my phone. I shouldn't set notifications for my own show, should I? Not a good idea. Not necessary. So we're here talking about, again, Mumbai Indians versus Delhi Capitals. Or should I be saying Delhi Capitals and Mumbai Indians? What should be the order of the teams? Sometimes you give favour to one or the other, but we're in Chennai. Is that one of the last matches we're playing in Chennai, I believe? Is that right?
No, not yet.
No,
Delhi is to play one more game. I think Mumbai is also to play one more game in Chennai.
Okay.
So I think that there are a few matches still remaining in Chennai.
Okay, all right. But the reality is that Delhi Capitals and Mumbai Indians realistically should not allow the pitch to even come into the equation. The whole discussion of the previous game with Rajasthan Royals and was the ball, the 10 overs scenario, blah, blah, blah. Let's not get into that because, quite frankly, I don't care whether the ball's new or old, spinning or not spinning. They should be able to adjust, as does an AB de Villiers when he bats. And there is no excuses. And I think Rishabh Pant's more than capable. The Mumbai Indians are full of players that should be able to win. There shouldn't be a question here. I don't want us to come out of this match saying, oh, it's the pitch, it's this, it's that. Quite frankly, they're on a level playing field and they both have the same conditions to account for, and that's that. Okay, now we've got a lot of interest around the team makeups, but I would argue that I think there's a lot to be said about Rishabh Pant and his nickname Spider-Man, of course, versus Rohit Sharma, Hitman. Can someone explain to me why Pant's called Spider-Man? No one?
So during this India-Australia Test series, whenever the stump mic was on, he was heard singing a rhyme that was that used to be played when the Spider-Man cartoon used to come on Indian television in Hindi.
Right.
So he was singing that song, and hence that. See, as far as Pant is concerned, his nickname has changed quite a few times depending upon how his performances have gone. The last tour to Australia, he was being called the babysitter because Tim Payne called him that. And then in between, there have been a few nicknames which nobody would like to be, called very fondly. But then it's all behind him. Now it's Spider-Man. So you never know what might be the next nickname he might get, depending upon his commentary on the stump mic.
That's true. I mean, Rohit, I get that. Hitman Rohit, it's quite clever. That's right. I like that. Alan Mullally and myself, we're trying to create a name called Normally. We're trying to work out some way of having between us. And I don't think there's no normality between Alan Mullally and myself, I can assure you. And we're in conversation today with Steve Waugh about some matters, and Steve Waugh may be coming on the show. We're looking at having Lance Klusner on the show. It's going to be very interesting over the next few weeks what's going to happen in particular. So as you can see, I've got my extra time hat on today. Exclusive range, only for the male model between us. That's namely me. All right, and we have got various stages of beard. Even Subhan, you've got a beard going too. What is it? Is it the winter effect or something? I'm not sure what it is. It's certainly cold where I am in Australia. All right, let's get back to the game. My initial thoughts are around, of course, Pant and Sharma. That sort of comparison is very significant. The pollards of the game, and the bowling, Trent Bolton, and my God, and of course our favourite friend, Bumrah. Quite an incredible bowling combination. Would you agree they're the best bowling combination, death bowlers in the whole tournament? Do you agree, guys?
Absolutely.
I'd say it's the best bowling combination, but not necessarily the best death bowling combination.
What, and who are you saying is better?
There's a possibility for KKR to do it better when they play Lockie Ferguson. Lockie Ferguson and Andre Russell can be a better combination if you go by their skill sets. I'm still not sure of Bold the death bowler yet, because last IPL also on pitches which were conducive for run scoring, he did went for runs in the death. His economy was over 10. It's just that he's been helped by the pitches in Chennai also. So once Mumbai Indians move out of Chennai, then maybe probably we can say if he's there as a death bowler yet or not. He's done well, but I still think it's too soon to say if both of them are the best combination going around.
Okay. Have you got a sponsorship deal with KKR, Gil, or something? What's going on there?
No, nothing of that sort. I'm very loyal to my surname's Gill, but I'm still loyal to Delhi Capitals. I know there's Shubman Gill in KKR, but I'm very loyal to Delhi Capitals.
That's what I was getting at. I reckon there's something going on here.
Yeah, I picked up the slower ball from the back of the hand.
Okay, now we've got to, first of all, KKR's got to make the final four, Gil. They're not any certain to do that at the moment. CSK, we were bagging them early on, saying they're not going to be, at least I was, they're not going to be in the top 4 or 5 sides. They are positioning themselves nicely for a top 4 position, aren't they? And effectively, that would be top. When you're top 4, you might as well be first, because they're all in the same playing field, aren't they? Okay, Mr. Chakraborty. Let's hear your words of wisdom. What do you think is going to happen to them?
Today, I think whenever we talk about Mumbai Indians, I think we always say they are the hot favorites to win any match against any opponents. But Delhi Capitals, I must say they are a side that can compete well against Mumbai Indians. They are the only side I feel that can match Mumbai Indians in terms of player quality, or say the Indian domestic core that they have built. Obviously, we know the awesome job, the fabulous job Mumbai Indians have done to create this team, to assemble this team. And we must give credit to the new Delhi Capitals franchisee, the way they have planned their transfer policies and auction policies. They have built a pretty strong squad, and I feel this will be a good contest today in Chennai.
I agree, but we really, when you say that, I mean, they're not I wouldn't say Delhi Capitals are the only team that can match Mumbai Indians. RCB, my heavens. And I think I mentioned earlier on in programs the momentum swing of a tournament, and more importantly, peaking too early. And it is a concern of mine that I hope Maxwell doesn't peak too early. And AB de Villiers will not peak early. He's going to be consistent. But I want to make sure these teams are not peaking early. I think that's important to note. Mumbai Indians are in the box sweat seat. They've won 2 years in a row. They know what they've got to do to make this victory. But I think Delhi Capitals know as well. And I think Delhi Capitals having an early loss against the Rajasthan Royals was fairly significant for them. But look at Rajasthan Royals they're heading. They're heading south, aren't they? Oh, my gosh. Awful. Absolutely awful. Both they and Punjab Kings, I'm not impressed. I really am not. I consider them both heading for this. But then there's Sunrisers Hyderabad. I'm really disappointed. If Williamson gets back in the side, we may see them rise again, but Sunrisers at least. But I think there's a lot more to be said. All right, now, Siddharth, you look a bit too relaxed to me. What is that telling me? You're telling me that you think, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk for Mumbai Indians, or what?
It is very tempting to say, yes, it might be a cakewalk. Two reasons. Number one, DC are coming to Chepauk for the first time in this IPL. Mumbai have already played 3 times. They know the conditions. Number one. The quality and the depth on offer for both Mumbai and Delhi, it's like a big difference. The batting, the bowling, the fielding. If they don't field, if they don't bat or bowl, they field brilliantly. The Mumbai Indians. Look at how Hardik Pandya's run out changed the entire course of the Sunrisers game. Delhi Capitals, again, that 4th overseas player is the conundrum for me. Whether you get Hetmeyer in, whether you persist with Steve Smith. Remember, if you pack your team with too many left-handers, Mumbai Indians can get in a Jayant Yadav who can take the ball away from them. On a spinning deck, that might be an issue. Number one. Number two, Delhi Capitals, that balance has been totally destroyed because Akshar Patel is not there. If Akshar Patel was there, your bowling and your batting would be sorted. But they are not there. Chepauk has a totally different dimension because it's not a day game. A day game, it would be similar to the Wankhede. You can score more runs. But it's a night game, as you've seen. Death overs, batting first, batting second, you will struggle. Mumbai have the best death bowlers. So the contest right in ends there, and they have that mental edge. 4 consecutive wins, 2020. How do you overcome that? Because Mumbai Indians are like the Aussies of the 90s. They keep the foot down on the throat. They don't let it out so easily.
Well, it's an important match for Mumbai Indians to do just that. They need to do that. They really do, because Delhi Capitals, if they get a whiff, will be a difficult opposition. Rabada and Norjay, they're calling it fast bowling royalty tonight. I wouldn't go that far. Certainly Bumrah and Bolt, I would agree. Rabada, well, he didn't look very good the last match, to be really honest with you. And Norjay, we haven't seen what he's done this time. So I think that's a bit of a heavy loading on the bowlers to say that.
I think for Delhi Capitals, the quarantine is going to hurt them big time for the overseas players. Rabada has looked rusty. If you get Nortje in, you're getting that rustiness all over again. You're leaving out Wokes, who's been superb in the last 3 games. So whether you stick with a combination that worked in 2020, I would necessarily not think so.
I actually don't think, even though Norjay is available for selection, whether they're going to rush him back in. I really don't. I don't think this is the wicket to give him. He needs probably a bit more time in the nets, I think, considering he's come off of a distinct break. And as you said, Chris Wokes is significant to me. The only COVID, I don't want to keep mentioning COVID-19 because it's a horrible topic to start with, but it's having an impact mentally, not so much physically, but more mentally. There's a lot of concern around what's developing within India. And a lot of people are commenting to me privately about, are they going to continue? And I think the players would be feeling that as well. Very simple solution. Come to Sydney. It's cold, but we can do anything here. I could run around semi-naked if I want to. There's not a problem there. Well, I won't do that, of course. But the fact is, the reality is it's something of a condition here that we're lucky. We're very lucky. But I think mentally it must be taking a lot of toll on the players. Wouldn't you agree? And we're only at the 13th match of some 60 total matches. I don't know about you, but that's very tiring mentally. We've got some double headers coming up as well, haven't we? That should speed things. In fact, I think they should do a lot more double headers. Give teams a break and have double headers on a regular basis. Don't you?
See,
Gil.
yeah. Before the IPL started, I think it was during the England series. Even Virat Kohli spoke of how how tiring and draining it can be. And before that, I think even Nasir Hussain and Michael Vaughan talked about how probably playing in the bubbles is not going to be sustainable unless you have a huge pool of players where you're having different squads and traveling with a with a big squad. Like how India announced that how ICC has allowed teams to name a 23-player squad for the World T20. So of course it's a difficult situation, but the issue with double headers is that if you do them on a weekday, is the viewership is affected because you don't have that many people free to watch the games in the afternoon. However,
Well, very simple. Very simple. Have it on Saturday and Sunday then.
yeah, most Saturdays and Sundays there is a double header, except for the last one. I didn't understand why they didn't have a double header last Saturday, but every Saturday, Sunday, and public holiday they have a double header. They do have a double header from now on, except for the
I
first
think
week.
I think there was some opinions taken of the stakeholders and the broadcasters that organized the double headers. I think even during weekends, the broadcasters were not happy with a 4:30 or a 3:30 p.m. start. So I guess that is one of the reasons why the BCCI and the IPL governing council decided to reduce the number of double headers. And basically, it's the biobubble fatigue. I mean, previous IPLs prior to COVID, teams would travel to various venues. That was one bone of contention. But now the venues have reduced, but the biobubble fatigue is such that mentally you are a wreck. Now, how do you balance that out? This is a new challenge in the COVID times. You can't travel to many venues, but at the same time, you're in the same venue, you're not traveling much, but that biobubble fatigue is playing a big role. How do you address that? That will be the next bone of contention.
I
Absolutely.
think that is why franchisees have moved to physiotherapists and psychologists to address this mental fatigue issue. Punjab Kings, for one, have are one of the first teams to hire a psychologist to be inside the bubble with the players and staff and address this issue so that the players don't mentally burn out.
And plus, they're making concessions by getting family members, some of
Yes.
them. So
No, I
that
think
is also
most
okay.
of them have allowed families, barring I think Chennai.
Yeah.
What's the word? Is Chennai, would you say, more of a problem state at the moment regarding these pandemic issues, or is it Maharashtra?
Maharashtra.
Could be.
Maharashtra is topping the list every single time, and I don't know. Every state is spiking. Delhi is about 25,000 in the last 24 hours. It's going from bad to worse everywhere. Wherever
I
the
think we
IPL has been played.
I think we have to look at the squad combination as well. Most of the players are at their home. CSK players are at their home for the most of the year. So I think they can manage. A Dhoni can manage a 2 months without his family, or a Raina or a Raidu can manage a 2 months without his family. So I think that is also something which we should consider. I think.
Very, very
Yeah.
good point. That actually falls in favour for CSK, is what you're saying.
Yes.
You talked about 3 or 4 players from CSK there.
Yeah.
It looks like there's been no caps given out, so no one news coming in. I'm not surprised by that because I actually still don't think I think Norjay won't play. I think Wokes is going to be in the side, and why bring him into a match where he doesn't really suit? Rabada will be hopefully better for his efforts. Delhi Capitals. You're quite clear, Siddharth, by saying that Mumbai Indians will win this match, aren't you?
Yep.
Gil, what do you think?
Yeah, so as far as the 11s are concerned, I think Delhi should be making 3 changes. One should be to get Mishra in straight away for the left arm pacer Lukman Meriwala. I know you are sort of saying that Vokes should play ahead of Nokia, but there's nothing off the surface of the Chennai pitch either for Vokes to extract something with the new ball. And on the other hand, if you play Nokia, what you can do is you can sort of tie the middle order batsmen or sort of bully them with the pace. Not necessarily, by bowling short, because that is what Milne was doing, because it's such a surface that when you bowl short, it takes all the pace out of it. If you remember the first test between England and India at Chennai, Bumrah and Ishan Sharma weren't also trying for short stuff because they were realizing that whenever they were bowling short, the ball was coming on quite slowly off the pace. But still, pace is important if you are able to bowl it full at full and bowl a Yorker length. So from that perspective, bowling at the death, someone like a Nokia becomes important to Pollard, Hardik, and Krunal. So I would make that change still. Maybe give the new ball to Avesh and bring in one of the spinners on, because we know that the Mumbai batting lineup at the start doesn't like spin. And Rohit Sharma's record against Amit Mishra isn't great. He's gotten out to him 6 times. Apart from this, one other change that I would do is I would bring in a Shimron Hetmeyer. I know there's a possibility that Jayant Yadav might play, but for that you have three other right-handers also who can counter that. But Rahul Chahar would most definitely play. And if Delhi have Steve Smith, so there's only Shikhar Dhawan and Rishabh Pant to counter Rahul Chahar. And yeah, what I think is if Jayant Yadav does come in, he would come in for Krunal Pandya, but Rahul Chahar is still going to play, and you need to get runs of him. So I'd still make those three changes. However, I think it is going to be maximum two changes. I still think that Ricky Ponting is going to have faith in Steve Smith and play him, but I definitely see Mishra playing, and I'd hope not Nokia plays, because there isn't enough movement of the surface also for Vokes to extract. And for the slower stuff, you have Stoinis who can bowl in the middle overs, because the ground is also bigger. It's not one KD where the ball's not going to stick on the surface. The ball's definitely going to stick on the surface. There's a longish side which has a 75-meter boundary where Stoinis can come into bowl, but you still can't expect him to bowl that slower stuff at the depth to the likes of Pollard and Hardik. He's going to be murdered.
Yeah, but Gil, do you see a chance for a guy like Shams Mulani playing today, like for like replacement of Akshar Patel, left arm spinner?
They already have. I see. I think when you have someone like a Mishra who has a good record against the likes of Rohit and even Quinton, and can get it would be because they're already taking a punt on one inexperienced bowler in Avesh Khan. And if Shams Mulani comes in, then there would be three more experienced bowlers, because Meriwala isn't experienced as well. So 12 overs of inexperienced bowlers is a punt that I will definitely not take against Mumbai Indians. That is for sure. Probably some other side which is at the bottom of the table, and when I am comfortably placed in the upper half, then maybe I can try and make that punt, but not three inexperienced bowlers against that Mumbai Indians lineup.
I see Rohit Sharma having a very significant match today. I think he needs to really step up in the true sense of the word. Not that he's playing badly necessarily, but this is a match he needs to assert a bit of authority, because I think Delhi Capitals will draw a lot of encouragement out of this match if they play well. I think it's very important for Mumbai, as you said, Siddharth, to put the foot on the throat and really give Delhi Capitals a wake up, because any positivity for Delhi Capitals will be to their advantage. And if they can win this match, they'll certainly take a lot out of it, more than Mumbai Indians will. And RCB will be watching this match with a great deal of interest, because they would see themselves as being, there's no doubt, the top three are RCB, Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals. CSK, a bit of a smoky. The rest, KKR, yeah, the rest, no. I know it's early days, but it's not too early. It's certainly getting to the point now where we're starting to get serious. Now, Siddharth, you're smugly smiling. It's almost telling me that you think Mumbai. I'm pretty sure you've written down somewhere thumping.
He's over the moon for Chennai Super Kings. I can say that.
I am actually contemplating Shubhayan's thing that you didn't even include KKR in that. I'm like, that will not go down well. But yeah, I think
for KKR it will be interesting how they play now when their Chennai leg is over. I think Mumbai, Bangalore, these two will be very crucial venues for KKR.
I think they should take the punt. I think KKR, if they have to exploit the conditions in Mumbai well, play Lockie Ferguson instead of Pat Cummins.
I would say.
Are you Lockie Ferguson's manager or something? You've mentioned Lockie Ferguson about 55 times.
I love New Zealand. Sorry, Aussies. I love them.
He doesn't believe in Pat Cummins, the T20 bowler, I guess.
Pat Cummins, a test bowler, miles ahead. But T20 bowler, some doubt still.
Yeah.
But he has done so far. He has done well so far.
Yeah, so far, yes. Thank goodness, finally.
It's also a lot to do with how he's used. He's not bowled at the death.
Yeah.
So
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. Yes.
I
Yes.
think I think Pat Cummins got the hang of IPL in the second half of last season. I think the first season it was he was all over the place, and slowly he came to know about the batsmen, how they play, how they approach the innings. So I think he made a work of that knowledge, that experience from last season, and he's continuing that form in this season as well.
but previously, when he was playing in the IPL, he's played for KKR before. He's
Yes.
also played for Delhi before in 2016, I guess 2016, 2017. Then also he wasn't bowling at the death. He was bowling in the power play, trying and getting those wickets up front, and then his job was more or less done.
Well, the amount of
Obviously, the
money,
introduction of Morgan, the captain, also changed the way he is being used now. So yeah,
the amount of money he's getting paid, he should be bowling at the beginning, middle, and the death. To be honest, It's-
Don't you think he should bat and field at all the places also? He should.
why? Well, I tell you what, Jadeja was everywhere. Was there any other field placement? Jadeja was at cover, mid wickets, points here, there. The man's a freak, absolute freak, tremendous. He is literally. If he didn't bat or bowl and just field, that'd be fine. They would gain from that. Now they're saying that Hardik Pandya is actually doing the huddle talking for Mumbai, not Rohit Sharma. I'm not sure if that's of any significance.
yes, I think he has taken up a good role, good vocal role in the Indian team as well. We saw in the last T20I series against England, he was right there in long on, long off, mid on, mid off, and he was constantly talking to the bowlers. Even when the likes of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma were around the bowlers, he was still there, present and giving his inputs. I remember when a match, I think it was second or third match, where Shardul Thakur was getting belted all over the place, and he was there and he was like, "Okay, let me bowl, please, don't talk much." Shardul Thakur's reaction. Yeah.
No, it's
Yep.
true.
Yep.
It's true. But I mean, you need, and I like the way Rohit Sharma does it. He's very inclusive. He knows when to say things. He's actually a very, very good captain. Having seen the way he's handled Mumbai Indians the last 2 years in a row, that there's certainly an air of respect and confidence about him. Even though he's not necessarily going to get the runs that we'd like to see him get, he's still a major presence. Absolutely. We were talking, in fact, it was this morning about the amount of money. I think it's 90 crores is the purse for a team to spend. 90 crores. That's what they got available to spend.
Yeah.
And the way in which it's been disgracefully used by Rajasthan Royals and Punjab Kings, just paying ridiculous overs for a player.
Actually, Norman. Actually, I would sorry to interrupt you here. I interviewed Richard Madley, the IPL auctioneer, once, and he was the most impressed by Rajasthan Royals and their business, how they go about their things and their scouting.
Really?
Surprisingly.
Do you think it was just maybe giving them a bit of a prop up when people were knocking them? Because Rajasthan Royals every single year is known to be a mismanaged financial side in terms of overs. You start paying people too much money, they never ever perform to the level of the money, and they put added pressure on them, added problems with the fans, expecting more out of them. It's a bad mistake. You're best having someone paid unders and playing above his weight. Don't you agree?
But I think it is more of how they perform on the field. I think they don't have a bad squad at all. They are a very good side on paper, but the thing is how they utilize their player. Have they invested on Sanju Samson? Is he the right player to take their team off to a different level? Is he consistent enough? These are the questions. Are the likes of Josh Butler, Jofra Archer, Ben Stokes, the core English four, are they enough to take this side to a different level? These are the questions we have to ask. They are a very good side on paper, and I still am continuously saying it. But the way they perform on the field, I think it's very indifferent to how they look on the team sheet.
Yeah, look, um, you can't convince me that a player should be paid too much. You can't convince me. I'm
Obviously,
sorry.
obviously, even I don't feel any player is worth 16 crore Indian rupees. I think it's crazy sum. It's crazy money. But it is what it is. We have to live by it. A player, it's not on players' hands. It's not in his hands or how much a franchise is paying for him.
That's
Right.
exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not blaming the players. They aren't forcing the issue, but the reality is they're paid too much. It actually squashes a lot of the natural instincts because they feel enormous pressure. Try it, sit up, put your thoughts. Imagine you're getting paid a squillion crores. I mean, you'd be probably very happy. We'd be sitting there with a cigar in the background. I know, but the reality is, you'd want to perform for it, wouldn't you? Absolutely.
I'd like to add something over here. See, I understand where you're coming from and what you're saying, that it puts a lot of pressure on the player as well to perform. But I think as a sports person, if you've reached a stage where you are being paid that much, you understand the process, that it's only the effort that is in your control. The result isn't. So the best thing that you can always do is, keep putting in the effort. And as long as you're doing that, I think a matured enough player will not sort of carry that pressure. The other thing is, we also have to realize that sports persons have a very short shelf life, unlike a
All right,
lot of other
Gil,
professions.
I've got to stop you for a minute. Mumbai Indians have won the toss and have chosen to bat first. Important breakthrough. Mumbai Indians have chosen to won the toss and have elected to bat first.
Jayant Yadav in. Jayant Yadav.
And the other is playing, yes. Hetmeyer and Amit Mishra are also playing.
Yes.
So you've got Dhawan, you've got Pant, you've got Hetmeyer.
But
Those three.
But I think how it is going to work is that, say, if Shaw gets out early, I can sense a Lalit Yadav promotion today instead of or a Marcus Stoinis coming in, depending upon who's bowling.
Some
So-
innovative
Bolt
captaincy
versus
is needed.
Prithvi
Yes.
Shaw would be interesting. Trent Bolt
Sorry?
versus Prithvi Shaw would be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you think that winning the toss and choosing to bat for starters and some of the selection changes which seem to be evident, Rowan says we've made one change, only one change, purely because of the conditions. Adam Milne misses out and we've got Jayant Yadav in. So they made this pitch
So
looks a
that
little
means
bit
they're
more,
playing three foreigners.
Yes. Yes. Bolt, Pollard, Quinton.
Yep.
and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have nobody. I rather think it's important that when there's an Indian set of players that are worth bringing in, you don't need to have four. It's not like a mandatory component. So you're saying three. But
Delhi's
okay.
playing Steve Smith also. Delhi's playing Steve
No,
Smith also.
no Vokes. No Vokes.
No,
No books.
I think they're a little short on bowling. They're relying on Stoinis to bowl 4 overs.
Yeah. Their bowlers are Lalit Yadav, Ashwin, Rabada, Mishra, Avesh Khan.
And
2
Stoinis.
pacers. Yeah, Stoinis.
So
3 pacers and 3 spinners.
Prithvi Shaw can also bowl a bit of leg spin and off spin.
Who?
Prithvi Shaw. Prithvi Shaw.
Oh, come off it.
Even
Oh,
Steve Smith is
he
still on.
continuously bowled in Vijayasara Trophy. He was all over the place with his sidearm action, and he
But-
literally bowled 10
But you're-
5-10 overs for Mumbai.
you're forgetting the prodigy, the next gen successor to Shane Warne.
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. How can you forget him? That is what he
let's
was
be honest.
touted as when he made his debut.
And obviously, Mumbai have Rohit Sharma in answer.
Okay, so Pant says we shouldn't think too much about the toss. We wanted to bat first. Obviously, 2 changes. Hetmeyer and Amit Mishra come in. Marawala and Wokes are out. Okay.
Steve Smith can get rid of Kyron Pollard. He's gotten him out many times. Don't underestimate Steve Smith. Smudge. I would say don't underestimate Smudge.
Well, when nobody's who's underestimating him? He was, as you said, he was first chosen for Australia as a leg spinner. My God, that certainly changed around. What a change around that was.
Oh.
Yeah, but don't you think anyone who can, sort of just turn it away can be chosen as Australia's next leg spinner in today's times? I mean, I think I just need to, roll my arm over and spin the ball away. That should be enough.
Cameron Green also made it big.
Now, are you also making disparaging comments about Nathan Lyon, despite him getting so many? He's the best credentialed, well, behind Upashan Singh, isn't he? He's the best credentialed off spinner in terms of stats, isn't he?
Ashwin also is there, right?
Ashwin.
No,
Ashwin is
but
right.
Oh,
if you
Ashwin
were
has
to
jumped
ask
up.
me,
Okay, yeah, Ashwin, yeah,
if
yeah.
you were to
He's
if
jumped
you were
ahead.
to ask me, if you were to ask me, Swan has better numbers than Lion. If you go by averages and strike rate, not
Or
particularly the number of wickets.
I'm not
I would
denying
still
that.
pick
I'm not denying that.
I would
Sorry,
still pick Saeed Ajmal over any of these bowlers or spinners.
Ajmal. That 42-degree flex. Come
But
on. If it was 15 degrees, I would imagine, but not 42, please.
Where did you get where did you get 42 from?
The
oh, there-
ICC ruling
Was it
that he
42?
flexed his arm
Was it
42
42?
degrees.
Oh,
Yes. When
okay.
that crackdown on off spinners happened in 2014, Shane Shillingford, Sunil Narayan, Saeed Ajmal was 42 degrees. That was the
Muhammad
flex.
Haf, Muhammad
Hafiz.
Hafiz,
Muhammad Hafiz,
Yeah.
yes.
Shoaib Malik,
Yeah.
Pragyan
That,
Oja.
There, there was a long list.
yeah.
But you know
Kane
what?
Williamson.
Kane Williamson.
But I mean, really, I'm sorry. If a bowler bowls well, I don't care what he does, as long as he doesn't actually physically chuck it. I don't have a problem. It brings flavour into cricket. When we get so heavily analysing their action, I mean, for God's sake, Malinga and Jeff Thompson, no one ever would coach their bowling in a pink fit, but they were the best bowlers at what they did. I don't care what they do. Who was that South African guy? Was it Adams?
Paul
It
Adams.
was.
Oh, yeah.
Did he have some sort of form of epilepsy or something when he was bowling? He bowled this very, very unusual action. Amazing.
No, but Norman, the problem with Paul Adams was his body spun. The ball didn't spin. That was the problem. His body spun. The ball
There
didn't
was
spin.
there was another bowler, a fast bowler, the Pakistan Sohail Tanveer. He would also rotate his arm
Oh,
twice.
yeah.
He would rotate it and then he'd rotate it again and then release it. I think now he has changed his action. He only does it once. But when he came onto the scene, he would rotate it twice. He would sort of put the batsman on the wrong foot through the action only.
Okay, Jayant Yadav. Tell me about what your thoughts are about him.
Great move.
Great hope.
Because great move. He was the surprise package that put Delhi Capitals' plans astray in the IPL 2020 final.
Of course.
Getting the ball to spin away from the left-handers, you're keeping them on a tight leash. So Rohit again understands that, yes, but I only hope Delhi Capitals are prepared well for him. Because if you go after Jayant Yadav, then you destroyed part of Rohit's plan to keep you quiet. So I just hope, and as Gurkirat said, if there is a promotion for someone else, innovative captaincy, only that might put Mumbai Indians off their plans. That is the need of the hour.
Steve Smith is there, so I think he's going to come at 3. He's going to come at 3.
Of course.
But there's one more thing.
Let's
in
be
that
careful,
final,
Steve.
in that final, yeah. So as I was saying, in that final, Jayant Yadav took the wicket of Shikhar Dhawan, but Delhi were hit before. They were hit before when they lost those 2 wickets in the first over itself.
Bold.
It was more to do with Iyer than not attacking Jayant because they were already under pressure 20 for 3. But see, I think he's not the kind of spinner that can't go for runs. He can go for runs, but they have to play the matchup smartly. There's Steve Smith, there's Lalit Yadav, there's Stoinis. So I still think that they can take him on. It's not something that they can't. Even Rishabh Pant is also very good against off spinners. We have seen what he had done against Nathan Lyon.
Yes.
So it's not something that should be spelled as doom for Delhi.
I think they made a mistake not having Works in the side. I'm really honest with you. I think they made a mistake doing that. I really think he can also bat well too. I think
they have a long enough batting. They have a long enough batting lineup up till number 8. Ravichandran Ashwin can bat, so I think that's not an issue.
Rabada and Xtra can also bat.
With the likes of Rishabh Pant in form, Marcus Stoinis is also batting well, so I don't think there's much need of adding another batting layer to their playing 11. They are good enough to go and compete.
Also Norman, I don't think Vokes batting adds that much of value in Chepauk.
Yeah, okay. I shouldn't be okay. Let's go to his bowling from there. Let's forget about his batting. I'll probably overemphasize his batting. His bowling today, the change of pace on a Chennai wicket, not the movement necessarily, but the change of pace. If he bowls well, which he certainly can do, I would have him in.
I think as Gurkirat mentioned earlier, they have Marcus Stoinis in their playing 11, so they can
Yeah,
easily
but
bowl
he's
him.
not. He's not the bowling answer. Come on, seriously.
Obviously, if you're looking at the slower ones, Marcus can do the same thing Vokes can do at the same pace. So
By
Do you think so?
obviously, the top delivery that Vokes bowls around 135, it is not Marcus's Stoinis's core area, but I think he can come and give a couple of overs, 3 overs to DC easily in the middle over phases.
So you're saying Marcus Stoinis is better value than Chris Wokes in this side?
No way I'm saying that, but he can do the same job if Delhi Capitals want him to bowl slower deliveries, off cutters, knuckle deliveries. He can come in the middle overs and give them a 2-3 overs easily.
We all can do the same job. Doesn't mean we're going to be the winning player for the team. So I'm not going to
But
go
obviously,
inside.
Marcus Stoinis adds hell lot of value than Chris Vokes as a batsman at number 6, number 5, 6, wherever they want him to use.
He hasn't been in great
They
form.
they can surprise us and promote Marcus at number 3 and tell him go bash everyone around. He has done it in Big Bash. He has
see,
opened in Big Bash. He was the highest run scorer.
On
So
Marcus Stoinis,
they
the
can
thing is
use
he's
him. They can use
off
him in a different way. They can't use Chris Vokes in different way when it comes to all round game.
see, there's another thing that we are missing out here. There's a possibility that Pollard might bowl a couple of overs as well. He bowled 1 over against KKR, and he had gone for runs. So if you were to ask me who's a better hitter of the pace that Pollard's bats at, I'd say it is Marcus Stoinis. And as an overall package, if you see where's Stoinis going to bat, he's probably going to bat at 5 and 6 and then play Bumrah and Bolt. Then obviously he's a better batsman. And I think when it comes to bowling, Chris Wokes is probably a 2 or 3 overs bowler here on this pitch. So is Marcus Stoinis. The difference is if there was movement, which I doubt, then he could have bowled in the power play. But if there is no movement, you can bowl spin in the power play and have Stoinis bowl in the middle overs.
All right, you guys have got a slightly better opinion of Marcus Stoinis
Shikhar
tonight.
Dhawan is there, so I guess Ravichandran Ashwin will be bowling at least 1 over in the power play. I feel so.
All right.
Yeah, he
Sorry,
is
I
dismissed.
got it wrong.
He's
Quinton de
dismissed.
Kock is there, so I think Ravichandran Ashwin will bowl.
He's
as well.
dismissed Quinton de Kock 4 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to see Chris Lynn play. I think we're missing him. Somebody in the IPL should have Chris Lynn in every match. That's a crying shame, don't you think? He's the most exciting
KKR did,
one.
and he failed. In the last couple of seasons, he didn't do well for KKR.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking when he does play his best, he is one of the best. Honestly, as far as box office is concerned, I don't think you guys have really seen Chris Lynn at his all-time best. Have you?
We have seen him. We have seen him.
He used to smoke Sean Tate out of the Gabba.
That's true. Yeah, that's in Australia I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the IPL.
He might be in contention when Mumbai moved to an Eden Gardens or a Chinnaswamy, not in Chennai.
But I mean, I've known Chris Lynn since he was a kid. He was on many tours with me to Sri Lanka. He's got incredible forearms, and I've never seen a person with a head that's so still when he hits his shots. It doesn't move. Quite incredible. All right. So, Norgay, we said it's not playing. We said that. We thought he's not in there. And that was a good move because it's probably a bit too early. He probably hasn't quite got enough runs on the board in terms of his prep for the game as others. Well, okay. We know about Hardik Pandya, but Krunal Pandya, what's your thoughts on him? Honestly.
Silent genius. A lucky genius.
A good all-rounder.
A silent genius. What does a silent genius mean?
Come on. Only he could get David Warner run out. I mean, hit wicket. Only he could get David Warner out hit wicket. One.
Yeah.
Second, when 31 were in need of 30, with Russell and with Dinesh Karthik, 2 good finishers, he could still bowl 2 overs and get only 7 runs. Plus, when he makes an impact with the bat, you don't know how the game has changed. That is Krunal Pandya in a nutshell for you. He's so underrated, but yet his knocks are stuff of genius. That's why. And he silently goes, he doesn't boast about it on social media. Oh, I did this, I did that. Silently, behind the backdrop in a mature way, goes about his work.
You know what? Today you're in a lot of superlatives come out of your mouth today. A lot of superlatives.
Oh.
The word genius. Are you serious? Genius?
I would say so.
Gil?
I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So I think what makes him better is that he plays in a lineup that is, that has a great support. We saw
Exactly.
what was happening with him when he was playing for India. It's a different ball game when you are the fifth bowler, which has three or four good bowlers anyway, and you are coming into bowl when the opposition is 4 or 5 down. Naturally, the opposition can't take you down, and it's difficult. So of course he becomes a better bowler, and this was happening to Hardik Pandya as well when he was playing for India, because India had Bumrah, Bhuvi, and the two wrist spinners doing their job. So whenever Hardik was bowling, the opposition was anyway under pressure for them to take any undue risk against him. So he becomes a better bowler when he plays for Mumbai without a doubt, because the support around him is very good. But I still think he's vulnerable. Make no mistake about it. He can go for runs, but yes, on his days, he knows. I think when the wide Yorker that he bowls is something that a lot of pacers can learn from him. That you have to give it to him, that he knows how to bowl defensively. But
Yep.
sometimes he just gets into that mindset of bowling defensively, bowling fast and everything, that he loses control. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's something which can be a hit and a miss. Uh, I'm saying that he can fail, but he's still a utility cricketer. Anyone who can give you 2 3 overs and 15 20 runs down the order, you'll take it, because it helps your balance in the side. It's very similar to the role that Akshar does for Delhi. The only difference is Akshar is more of a 4 over bowler than what a Krunal is, and then Krunal is slightly better batsman than Akshar. So it's a very similar debate, but of course another thing is that Akshar also becomes a better bowler when he has the likes of Rabada, Nokia, uh, Mishra or Ashwin bowling alongside. So you become a better bowler when you already have other bowlers who are putting pressure on the opposition. As far as his
I think
batting is concerned, it's definitely gone up a notch.
we've seen the end of having four so-called foreigners playing. I think there's a trend starting here. This is the first. Mumbai Indians have only 3 times had 3 overseas players. Back in 2010 at Brabourne, they're saying, against Rajasthan Royals, against the Kings 11, as they were called, back in 2012, and a massive leap 9 years later today. That's quite significant, isn't it? That's what was the other side? Was it RCB who did that as well? What other side's done that? RCB.
RCB did it.
Yeah, so that RCB and Mumbai and Mumbai Indians now are showing a true trend, and that's a good sign. Why? Because Indian players need to be promoted. They need to be given the opportunity. I think it's a great sense of young Indian players coming through. Next season, it'll be a different kettle of fish, perhaps. We don't know. With 10 teams, all sorts of things are going to go on. It's going to be one of the best auctions for quite some time, don't you agree? Next year's auction is going to be an open slather. In particular, CSK. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to be very curious what they do, because they could lose a lot of players, you would think. Unless they give them wheelchairs. Otherwise, they may. Or walking sticks. Yeah, it's also a slap in the face for countries like Australia. A lot of their players are not coming now, like Stark, Mitchell Marsh. There's a lot of players not coming, and I'm not happy with that. I think that they need to be. This was an opportunity to play well before the World Cup, and they didn't take the opportunity. Stark is in desperate need of some efforts. I think he's been quite under par. He was certainly under par in the state match, which Queensland won. Adam Holyoke, of course, a great part of my show, My Eyes on Cricket, with Norman Kochnick show. Adam's there all the time. He was the batting coach of Queensland. He's very proud. He's very emotionally proud. Adam Holyoke is a great coach. I tell you what, there'll be some national sides, maybe Sri Lanka and the like in the future, may want to nab Adam Holyoke. Tremendous guy. All right. So Chepauk, here we are. we seem to be always in Chennai, don't we? I have this feeling we're residing there. And and Eden Gardens must be dusty up there. Must be a lot of like cobwebs or something there. There's not much being played there, is there?
Well, at least they're going to play in the near future. Think about Mohali. Think about all the other. Think about Jaipur. 2 years.
There's a different match happening in Kolkata right now.
Of course.
Matches are happening, but not cricket. It's something else that is happening.
Yep.
They're a mess, aren't they? There's something brewing there. There's something certainly brewing. And again, I keep telling you, the social media platforms for all of these teams are so glossy. Aren't we all in happiness here? Everything's harmonious. Tell us the truth. Tell us some bad things. Don't be afraid to say certain things needing adjusting. I'm a bit sick of seeing teams only talking glossy. Really. Now, another thing. I uncovered a new sport today, guys. You want to hear about it? It's relating to cricket. Would you believe in Australia we're playing what they call darts cricket? Have you ever heard of this? Darts.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we've heard darts, but darts cricket, no.
Okay, what happens is one is the batter, one dart thrower is the batter, one is the bowler. The batter tries to get the highest score on the darts board, whatever the highest number is, 20, whatever it is. That's what they target. That's the way they score runs. But the bowler has to, in order, hit 1, 2, 3, and if he does so, they're all out. So it's an intriguing game and it's becoming quite popular all of a sudden. It's all the rage at the moment. It's called darts cricket.
It's similar to book cricket we used to play in our school days.
Yeah.
Exactly.
4, 6, 1, 2, 0, we would be out, right?
I feel it's anything is good to promote cricket as long as it's making people learn more about the game, more about the sport, any sport for that matter.
Exactly. But I thought that was amusing to me. I mean, people. I'm going into Ubers and I'm going to here and there, and there are a few Australians watching my show now, especially in Coogee. I think the whole of my suburb Coogee are watching because they see me walking up and down the street interviewing people all day. They probably think that they all want to know what's going on. But it's intriguing. They come out to me and saying, "Oh, here's a good idea for your show, darts cricket." I go, "What? What's this darts cricket?" It was amusing. It was very interesting. And I actually met a lady from Spotify today, one of the heads of Spotify, wanting to do podcasts as opposed to the visuals. So anyway, there's a lot of interesting things happening. People have always said I've got a head for radio anyway, so that's another thing. You're not supposed to agree to that, Sid. You're supposed to say, "Oh, no, Norman, no." All right.
No harm in agreeing.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Touche. Now, we've got some 5 minutes, a bit over 5 minutes to go before the match. We've got to allow people to have their cups of tea. We're not talking about sponsors at the moment. We're going through some sponsors changes other than Xtra time hats and shirts. Can you see my shirt?
Yeah.
Like it?
Yes.
Yeah. The logo is
we've
visible.
got Jimmy Maxwell's book, Catherine McGregor's book, my hat.
Yep.
Gil, are you got anything you want to flog? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to sell? Do you understand the word flog? If you're trying to flog something, it means you're trying to sell something. Some Aussie
Anything
slang.
on KPR, Gil?
Yeah, that's a new word that I've learned today. So what I can tell the viewers is that you should watch this. So you should watch this show because not only your cricketing knowledge, your vocabulary will also increase. So it's
Absolutely.
You can tell your parents that I'm not only watching a cricket show, I'm watching something that will help me improve my vocabulary, so I can be a good student. So yeah, so what I'm flogging today is the Extra Time show with Norman Kochner.
That's almost worth bottling. That was fantastic. It's fantastic. But we certainly aren't flogging shavers, are we? In this book, I don't think anyone said it's a proper shave for a while. That's nothing. All right. I think we need to say once and for all who's going to win. Siddharth.
Mumbai. Eyes closed. Mumbai Indians.
We don't want them closing their eyes. We want them to keep their eyes open. Gil.
So I am wearing a Delhi Capitals jersey. It would be unfair if I said Mumbai, so I have to say Delhi Capitals.
Well, you're wearing this shirt, for God's sake. You look a bit silly saying, oh, Mumbai Indians, you're wearing a Delhi Capitals shirt.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like saying yes, yes, yes. It's like that.
Okay. And Mr. Chakraborty, what's your thoughts?
I think Siddharth and I have done this a lot back last year. So I'll go with Delhi Capitals this time, and I think they will beat them with a good margin.
I'm actually saying Delhi Capitals as well. So there's three of us here, against one.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. All right, guys. Wonderful show as always. I'm still the best looking, but that's okay. Norman Kochnick here saying goodbye from Extra Time. Please don't forget to view, like, and share the post. Subscribe, share, everything you need to do. This is a worthy show watching. This is a pre-show. Join us for the post-show as well after the match. Norman Kochnick from Extra Time, signing off.
Bye-bye.